Yo, what's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be bringing to you my thoughts on who the best position players are in the new Team Affinity Season 2 program. As we all know, on Friday, the 28th of May, SDS dropped a bunch of content to include the Team Affinity Season 2. It's a mixture of legends and flashbacks. Well, specifically future stars. I should say it's a mixture of legends and future stars. That's all it is. Legends and future stars. So with the legends, you have a mixture of second half heroes, all-star cards, postseason, so on and so forth. Flashback versions, of those cards, and then just future stars for the young guys. So I'm gonna give you my opinions on who the best cards are. And we'll go ahead and start with I'm going to give you the top 8. Number 8, I'm going to say it's Jimmy Fox, the Boston Red Sox Team Affinity card. And look at him. He's a veteran, 93 overall. He can play first, third, and catcher. That's been a little bit of a staple now for Jimmy. He came out in 2019. His postseason version was able to catch that year, but they brought out his signature series, which wasn't able to catch. A little bit, a lot of people were upset, to include myself. I was very highly upset about that. But last year, they gave us an MVP version of Jimmy with the A's as opposed to the signature series with the Red Sox. And he was actually had catchers as secondary. So now we have another one with the catcher secondary. And 93 overall. Pretty good card right here. 75 contact versus right, 92 power versus right. So that's the downside of him. His contact versus right is not very good. His power is fine. 92, that's really good. But that contact on Legend, if you play on Hall of Fame and All-Star and stuff like that, great card. That you don't got anything to worry about with that contact. If you play on Legend, though, that's when it gets a little bit in the muddy waters, especially with your cards coming out and the right-handed pitchers and left-handed, so on and so forth. Righty pitchers are going to make his PCI really small. But if you have good precision, then Jimmy's a good guy for you, especially if you need a catcher. You're tired of Posada or something else, you need a catcher. Jimmy's a good guy for you. He's got a really good swing. And I've always loved Jimmy's swing, just one of the lead swings in the game. Well, anyways, a lefty's a little bit different. So he's got 116 contact versus left, 105 power. Absolutely amazing versus lefties, which might play now. You have Outlighter, Tom Glavine, Cliff Lee, Mike Hampton, Fernando Valenzuela. A lot of lefty starters right now. There's way more better lefty starters than righty starters in my opinion. So it might people might have a lefty starting, a heavy lefty starting rotation. So it might be something that you might just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna use them and I'll take my L's or whatever not my L's in the game, but L's with him, using him when he's facing righties. But against lefties, you're gonna, you may think you're gonna face more. Out of 10 games, you maybe face a starting pitcher that's lefty 7 times. That's great right there. But anyways, I'm gonna quit rambling about him. Very good card. Obviously, not good defense whatsoever. He has bronze defense at first, and goes to common off the rip, whatever, 50 speed, nothing great, but. Remember, parallel 5 program, he ends up with 80, 97. There you can work there with that 80 contact. And he ends up with 121, 110, and then 67 fielding. So once you get to parallel 3, you get to 65, which is a bronze, and his secondary will be bronze as well. So once you get to parallel 3, he can be a bronze defender. Not going to be a great defender. It is what it is. Catcher defense, we don't really care. But anyways, that's why I think number 8 is. I'm going through my list. I'm looking at my list right now that I wrote down on my phone, and he is number 8 for me. Number 7 for me is gonna be Joe Torre, another guy that has a primary. He has actually primary at third base, but he can also play first base and catcher. So another guy you can put behind the plate. MVP Joe Torre. I think he hit 363 that year, if I'm not mistaken. He's got 125 contact versus both, so very elite, or just elite contact, the best contact you can have, obviously. Don't even need the parallel program to max him out. He's got 84 power right off the rip. Very doable, very good power right there against righties. However, he only has 62 power versus lefties, so he's going to be swinging absolute noodle versus lefties. And yeah, it's not good. I mean, 62 power, perfect. That's not going to get you anything. I've had, I've done gameplays and stuff with guys with low power like that. A perfect fly ball is not even going to get to the warning track if you're not playing at a field with high elevation. So, that just throws this card off. That's why it brings him lower on my list. If he did have higher power, he'd be one of the higher hitters, honestly, in my opinion. But he really isn't. Torre also has a slower swing, so that's also brings him down when it comes to his hitting. He's got 76 fielding at third, so silver defense, a mid-tier, 80 arm strength, 75 reaction, so not the greatest arm, not the best reaction, but pretty decent, and then 47 speed is not a burner. You parallel 5 him, he ends up with 89 power versus right, 67 versus left, still shitty power versus left, just not good at all. He ends up with gold defense at third. We'll have silver defense always at catcher if you use him there. But he will end up with a pretty good arm at 85 and pretty good reaction at 80. So not a bad card at all. Number 6 on my list is going to be another, we're going to go with another catcher in the AL West. This guy's actually a primary catcher with great defense as well, and that's going to be Sam Huff. Future star Sam Huff with the Rangers. Just a huge catcher, 6'5", 240. Kind of reminds me of a build of like Joe Mauer, 6'5". That's a big catcher. First base, secondary, but you're going to want to use him at first. Catcher, not first. 80 contact versus right, 91 versus left. Not the best contact versus right, okay versus left, but still, that's doable. The 80 contact range is pretty doable, especially early in the year. We are early in the year. 105 power versus right and 102 power versus left. Both over 100 power, just very good power versus both, especially versus righties. He's got that a little bit higher tick, +3 more than lefties. Very good card, very, very good catcher. Parallel 5 ends up with 85, 110, and 96, 107. That's extremely good. If you use him that much and get him to parallel 5, absolutely great offensive catcher, especially at the beginning of the year. 80 fielding goes up to 85, so he doesn't get diamond defense. Always a goal defender since the beginning. 90 arm strength, absolute hose behind the plate, and it only gets better. 80 blocking, pretty good, gets better. Reaction, 78. He's actually pretty fast for a catcher, 56 speed. Not the greatest, but it's pretty good for a catcher. It can get up to, that 61 speed range if you use him that much. So he is number 6 on my list. Number 5 on my list is going to be a guy that's in the same division, and that's going to be Tori Hunter, Gold Glove Tori Hunter. So it's going to be his 09 year with the Angels. And he's pretty all around, I'm not going to lie. I mean, he's got 93 contact versus right, 80 power. That's pretty good against righties. And then lefties, he absolutely crushes. 117 contact versus lefties with 94 power. Absolutely crushes lefties. Also, it's a gold club card, so he has great defense in right field. No, he is actually primary center field. I thought he was starting to play the corners here with the Angels, but not yet. He can play the corners and secondaries, and he still have diamond defense. But anyways, back to his defense. He's got 96 fielding, so that's obviously high tier diamond. 75 arm, so kind of a poo-poo arm, not the best arm, obviously. 85 accuracy, who really cares about that? And 92 reaction, so he gets good jumps. 73 speed, he's going to need that reaction to get him good jumps because the speed is not entirely there to cover ground. But he does get +5, so he ends up with 98, 85, 122, and 99. Absolute phenomenal against lefties, and can hold his own versus righties for sure. And then ends up with 99 fielding at parallel 3, so parallel 5 obviously going to get better. He'll end up with 80 arm strength, that's pretty good, 80 arm strength, and then 97 reaction for parallel 5 with 78 speed. So he should be able to cover ground at that point. He is number 5 on my list. Number 4 on the list is going to be an AL Central, and that's going to be with the Cleveland Indians team Affinity, and that's going to be Mr. Jim Thome second half. He had an absolutely fucking crazy second half that year, and they gave him pretty good numbers. 96 overall. Only first base, first base is the only position. He doesn't have a secondary at third like he did last year. Probably in a later card he will, but not this card. But with that being said, he has 119 contact versus right, 125 power versus right. So pretty much maxed out contact and maxed out power versus right. He's almost 125, 125. He's only 6 away. Won't end up there with Pella 5, but just about there. 74 contact versus left and 100 power versus left. Can hold his own versus lefties. The contact's pretty low, yeah, but the power is there with 100. He still can drive the ball against lefties for sure. And he always has a great swing, so that shouldn't be a problem. 62 fielding, not a great defender at all, but he plays first, so all you have to do is knock him down. 29 speed, not a burner by any means either. But at parallel 5, he ends up with 124, 125 versus right. Absolutely phenomenal. That's even better than Big Papi. Once he gets to parallel 3, he's better than Big Papi against righties, which is crazy to say. And then versus lefties, 74, 100, so he ends up with 79, 105, which is very, very good in my opinion for a left-handed hitter. Doesn't get to silver defense. He's 67 fielding, and the speed only gets to 34. Not good at all. Not a burner. He's number 4 on my list. All right, number 3 on my list is gonna be where are we going? To the NL West, and we're gonna go to the Rockies. And that is the 30-30 Club Dante Bichette card. He is number 3 on my list for position players. So he's got very good hitting numbers. 100 contact versus right, 125 versus left, so max down versus left. 95 power versus right, really good power as well versus right. 105 versus left, absolutely crushes lefties. Just a lefty killer he is. He's got 62 fielding, 67 arm, and 58 reaction. 70 speed. So they give him pretty good speed and good steal. It is a 30-30 club, 31 bombs and 31 stolen bases. So pretty damn good card. But back to the reason why he's number 3. So yeah, he has the phenomenal hitting numbers. I mean, he would end up with 105, 100 versus right, and 125, 110 versus left once you get to parallel 5. That's absolutely crazy. You're probably like, why is he number 3 on your list? Well, because I'm factoring defense and all that, and he just doesn't do it for me on defense as a right fielder. You know, you got to have more arm than 67. He only ends up with 72 arm plus 5 and 75 speed. He doesn't even cover ground, doesn't have a good reaction. Just going to be a terrible defender out there, low tier bronze, can't even get to silver. You know, you don't want that in your outfield. You really just don't. And unless he has gaudy numbers, like absolutely phenomenal numbers, you still want to, I would still say at least a silver defender. Not even bronze get the worst jumps, especially 58 reactions. Terrible. That's the only reason why I knock him. Also, his swing from my past experiences is that it's always been on the slower side. So I don't know how it is this year. But if they didn't change the stance, it's not going to be any different. It's still going to be on the slower side. So that also knocks him a little bit. But he's number 3 on my list. Number 2 on the Team Affinity list for position players, we're going to go to the AL East. And it's going to be Jordan Groshans. I don't know how you say it. I probably butchered it. I'm sorry. And if you're watching this, again, I'm sorry. You can comment on how to say it. I highly doubt you're watching it, but it is what it is. Anyways, we'll talk about him real quick. Shortstop primary, awesome. Great. 6'3", great height. And third base secondary only. He doesn't have second base. Like usually the shortstops have second base secondary, but he doesn't. So off the rip, he has 102 contact versus right, 100 versus left. So off the rip, 100 contact versus both. Amazing. That's great. And a little bit more against righties, which he's a right-handed hitter. 92 power versus right and 86 for left. So actually, he's a kind of reverse splits guy. Got that 92 power versus right. Obviously more power than lefties, but still has, holds his own by far with that 86 power. And then you get plus 5, you end up with 107, 97. And 105, 91. So very, very good card, especially once you get to parallel 5. 82 fielding, so he gets low tier gold defense, ends up at 87. And his 86 reaction, which is really good. Great reaction at shortstop. That's what you want. With that 92 arm, he ends up with 97 arm and 91 reaction at parallel 5, 75 speed. At parallel 5, 70 speed to start off with. So just a very, very, I was like, when I saw this card, I was like, wow, that's a really good shortstop. I'm really glad that they added him to the game. And we're going to be debuting him as well at some point. But, yeah, really good card. Definitely a card that if you don't have like a chipper and you don't have Kyle Seager yet and, so on and so forth, this guy at shortstop or third base, you can't get Trevor Story. You haven't gone 12-0 or you haven't finished up the BR reward program or whatnot to get that 12-0 pack. This guy's really good. I'm telling you, this card's really good. Looks really good, and definitely a card you should have on your team. And then last but not least, number 1 on my list, we're going to go to the NL East. It's going to be the future stars, Ronny Mauricio. So This card overall just great. 6'3", great height. We know we don't like those shorter players. They're a little bit tougher to see the pitches come out the hand and stuff. He's got 95 contact versus right and 89 contact versus left. So very balanced versus both. Doesn't reach that 100 threshold, but he's pretty balanced right there. He can get there once you parallel 5 him against righties, but obviously you don't start off there. 96 power versus right. That's really good power versus, for a shortstop. And then 82 power versus left. Not the best, but still can hold his own. When you parallel 5 him, though, he looks really damn fucking good. He's got 100 contact versus right and 101 power versus right when you parallel 5 him. 94 contact versus left and 87 power. That's really freaking good, man. Just a great card. 88 fielding off the rip, so high tier gold. Only parallel 2, and that gets him to diamond defense at short. He's got an absolute hose with 95 arm. Get him to parallel 4. He got that 99 arm at shortstop. And then 94 reaction, parallel 5. He has 99 reaction. This guy's going to have 93 fielding, 99 arm, and 99 reaction when you get him to parallel 5. The only bad thing is he only has a third base secondary. Kind of wish he had a second base secondary, not going to lie, but third base, whatever, it is what it is. He's going to be playing shortstop anyways. And he's got 62 speed, and which is kind of surprising. I thought he would have more speed or whatever. I wish he kind of had at least like 75, 75 to start off with to get him to 80 speed, but it is what it is. He ends up with 67 speed. Not the best speed, not a burner by any means, but, it's going to be above average. But this is what's the most intriguing part and what makes him, he's an all-around player except for the speed. Obviously not the 5 tools, but he's got the main tools that you want in Diamond Dynasty. He's also a switch hitter. That is a huge factor. A switch hitter that has very good splits versus both is a great card to have in your lineup. Obviously, you're never going to be at a disadvantage when you're facing a pitcher. You're always going to have the handiness advantage. So that's what makes him go. Besides, he has great numbers. Yeah, there's cards that are, that Jordan Greshams obviously has better numbers. However, he's not a switch hitter, and that's what puts him over the top for me. Especially with that defense, diamond defense at short, that also puts him over the top because it's all overall. But anyways, just to go over it again, we got Fox at number 8, Joe Torre at number 7, Sam Huff at number 6. Number 5 is going to be Tori Hunter, Tommy at 4, Bichette at 3, Jordan Greshams at number 2, and then Ronny Mauricio rounds up at number 1. But anyways, hope this gives you a little bit more insight on who you should attack first and what you need to be getting in your lineup. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn your notifications on. Leave a like on the video. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. Also, give me a follow on Twitch. The link to my Twitch channel will be in the description below, along with my Twitter handle will also be in the description below. So give me a follow on both platforms. I highly appreciate it if you would, all right? I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Peace.